Welcome to Smart Monkey Radio, part two of our booking session with WCW. I know we were supposed to do it Sunday, but a couple things came up the last couple of days. We'll talk about
That's
that
right.
off air. But
Uh-oh.
yeah, it was yesterday was an odd day. Like I was making dinner. I came downstairs, and it's one of those. You look at your fucking phone, and you're like, "Wait, what?" It was like one of those. I said, I said, this had to be a mistake. They couldn't have called me because they blocked me. So I was like, all right, couldn't have been a mistake because you had to unblock me to try and get in
Well,
touch with me.
it depends. If that person has an iPhone, there's this weird thing where a person can block you, but still fucking call you.
Really?
Ain't that some shit? Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was through social media, so it had to be unblocked in order to
Oh,
send.
that's completely different.
And I knew that's why I was like, all right, I'll take this call. So it was an interesting call to say the least, but that's why we missed a couple days. So I'm here today. This time I wrote everything down so that I'm not off the cuff trying to remember what I put when I get baked. So I got a lot here, but instead of just like booking each week show because that took like was gonna take forever. Obviously, we can't do the whole
Yeah.
96 year. I figured we would just say key things like
Yes.
what would you do with like the top guys and considering Nash and Hall are coming. You have I think you've added to your roster of you kept Mark Marrow if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
right.
Kept Johnny
Yes, I
Vivet.
kept Johnny B. Bad.
Man, kept Johnny Vivet.
Why get rid of talent?
Yeah. How I left off '95 was if you remember, the Giant lost the belt to Hogan at Starrcade. He's being questioned by the Horsemen if it was the right decision putting him in the group, and
Yes.
he snaps, he beats them all up. So now you don't even know if he's in the Horsemen anymore. Spoiler alert, he's not. But
After you do something like that, how could he be?
yeah, so I'm I'm gonna defer to you because Brandon has been leaning towards your side anyway. He said so far in round one,
Right.
yeah, you have the points. He said he liked this turning of heel of Sting. He said he didn't see that coming, so he said
Yeah.
that was
Sting is
a
still
pretty good.
obviously trying to become the heavyweight champion. Obviously, Savage is out for X amount of months. There is no number there to allow you to know. Obviously, he'll show up next year, just don't know when. Because now we are pretty much going into '96. If I'm not mistaken, we basically ended by doing the last Nitro or whatever, and because I think in real life they didn't even have a Nitro episode. I think after Christmas, I think they just had like a year-end review. I could be wrong.
No, they did that. They did that the next year in '96.
Okay,
'95 they went live on Christmas Day because WWE did it.
of course not.
Yeah.
That's why I'm curious to know what they're going to do this year, since Christmas falls on a Sunday, and they usually do their MSG show the following day.
Following day, it's 26th. Well, that would just be
Yeah,
Monday Night Raw then. If that's the case.
no, because it's in the Garden. So I don't think they're going to do a Garden show at the end of the year. It would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen that way.
It's probably just gonna be like a
They'll
year in
wind up
review.
doing a thing where certain guys that are on Raw will be at MSG in whatever way it works. But yeah, Sting obviously still wanting his title shot.
Right.
The Giant, if I'm not mistaken, also is the current champion.
Yes,
Yes, he is.
yes, he was. Yeah.
Savage is injured. Uh, I have Colonel Rob. I'm sorry, he's Sir William Parker.
Yeah, because he manages the Blue Bloods
He's
now.
managing the Blue Bloods.
Yes.
It was great. I gotta be honest. I didn't write any of this stuff down, and all my memories just picking up. Now, I gotta say something. Seeing as how WWF brought in Sable,
Yeah.
I think if WCW did that, Merrill would have remained in WCW. I don't see Merrill as a horseman
Okay.
ever. Bad enough we had Paul Roma as one.
Was that wait? Was
Uh,
that supposed to be a thing though? Oh, okay.
no.
All right.
But I could picture Sable being one of the valets for the Horsemen to
Oh,
just
for
be there.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
She could totally be just like Liz.
Yeah, probably better than Liz. Liz was like the fifth pole. She didn't do nothing.
Liz didn't do anything until she was with the NWO,
Whoa,
I think.
man, which went
Or when
heel.
she was with Luger. I remember she actually smoked, I think, Sting in the face with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Oh,
Somebody
that
she hit in the
was
face
late.
with a baseball bat.
Was when she started doing drugs.
Yeah, that was the real heel turn.
That's when we saw the wild side. Yeah. Which, by the way, that biography of Lex Luger is so depressing.
Out of all of them, yes.
It was very depressing. Like I was like, oh Jesus, all right, enough is enough.
But let's see. So, if I'm not mistaken, they did have a Clash of the Champions.
It was Clash of the Champions in February instead of a pay per view. I noticed.
It was in February. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
No, I think you're right.
no.
It was in January or February. I know it was one. I know it's one of those.
It
months.
might have been January. Might have been January.
Because obviously Flair winds up with the title.
Yeah.
At the end of the year. So I'm trying to figure out how to potentially book my Clash of Champions.
Oh.
You know, Hogan is holding Luger at fault for Savage's injury with his leg, even though it was him who decided to jump off a damn cage and come down with a double axe handle.
It's Macho Man.
I'm thinking about having that as a headlining match on free TV, especially since you don't get Hogan as often on my shows as it is.
I noticed that, dude. I think that's another reason why you're leading in the points here.
So I feel like that's going to, in my head, if it was back then, that's going to put eyes on the product to want to watch the show. All right, Hogan and Luger's the main event.
Yeah.
Do that. I'm trying to find the proper angle for the tag titles. That one's a little difficult.
You put them back on the Harlem Heat, correct? That's who's the tag team champions. Your current tag team champions, the Harlem Heat.
Yes.
Okay. Which I've been watching a lot of.
Oh, the Blue Bloods are the champions.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I know they were engaged in a bit of a thing for the belts. You said.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Bloods and the Harlem Heat. Which I've been watching a lot of Harlem Heat for that WCW 96. They're fucking so good.
Yeah.
So underrated. Don't get
so
enough
let's
credit.
see. I would put Sabu against Chris Benoit as like an opener to that Clash of Champions. I'm gonna have it where Sabu is still in the company longer than what people obviously remember.
Sabu was what, 2 months? Because I was watching these Nitros.
Yeah.
He's not there very long. Now, was there falling out? Is there what happened with Sabu?
I never heard the backstory.
No one ever heard a story. He just disappeared. Very quickly.
Yeah. I was like, obviously, as time would go on, I don't even think he went to ECW until like maybe '97. So I'm pretty sure he probably went to Japan to make.
Well, didn't he got dumped on his head by Benoit in ECW?
Yes.
He broke his neck, so he was out for a while.
Yes. But that was before Benoit obviously came to WCW.
That's what I'm saying. That was in ECW, so I'm assuming that was '95. Yeah. So he was probably right after his WCW run.
So I would like to figure out. I mean, I don't think I would want to bring that up in commentary, but I would be like, these two have a history.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go dive into the details. Have that match. I would have Anderson and Pillman up against the Blue Bloods.
Yeah, because that was the thing.
And a tag title match.
They tried to make that a thing. The Anderson and Pillman as a tag team.
Giant come out, cut a promo with Sting interrupting him and saying, that match, I did not lose. You pin Flair and give me my shot at the next pay-per-view.
Now, is Sting like a cocky, arrogant heel? What kind of heel you picturing Sting as then?
Sting's a bit of a dick, pretty much.
Okay. I can see that.
Sting's a bit of a dick. It's one of those situations where people are actually rooting for the Giant, which would not be expected in real life.
Yeah.
Up against Sting.
Giant cut real shitty promos in '96, dude.
Yeah, no. Let's see. So obviously that's the start of the year. I'm gonna have Sabu and Pillman. Oh, excuse me, Sabu and Benoit
Benoit.
go to an basically a draw, time
Okay.
limit draw. You got like 10 minutes or whatever.
Does it go out
But
of? Does it get out of hand? Do we bring officials in to break it up?
it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
just full knockdown, drag them out, Donnybrook between the two of them, possibly setting them up for something bigger later on.
Yeah.
Uh, Blue Bloods wind up being victorious, pulling the tights. Sir Earl of Eaton he gets that pinfall victory.
Okay,
I feel like
ridiculous.
my show should be longer. I would do well. The reason why they're pulling the tights is because you got to remember Pillman turned on Eddie Guerrero.
That's right, he
Well,
did.
Guerrero is the distraction to that match as
Right.
he's walking out,
Okay.
which leads to that roll up, pull of the tights. You don't need the big crazy finishes or whatever for that particular match. Uh, I'm gonna wind up putting Hogan as being victorious over Lex Luger.
Ooh, the Hulkster, dude.
But at the end of that match, Sting comes out and wipes him out with a chair and is getting ready to injure Hogan's leg when, of all people, the last person you expect to come to the rescue for Hogan, but not really trying to save Hogan, is just obviously the scare off Sting would be the Giant.
Yeah, yeah, because he just had a
That's how
thing
we're
with him.
closing. That's how we're closing off that show, and obviously the two men, it's standoffish as they're standing in the ring as the show ends.
Okay.
Hogan and the Giant.
Hogan and the Giant. Is it like a respect thing, or are they about to fight each other?
It looks like they're about to fight, but there is that little bit of respect.
A little bit of respect. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I didn't book cards. What I
Mm-hmm.
did was I just put what I would do, so I could be quick about it, and then I could
Yes.
just talk about it. So, '95 ended with Hogan winning the title back from the Giant. Right. The next night,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, Giant attacks the Horseman and bounces. He goes, "I don't need this group or whatever."
Yeah.
Right. So Hogan rides the belt into Clash of the Champions, where he loses to the winner of my World War III, Macho Man Randy Savage. So Savage
Yeah.
takes the belt from Hogan, finally raiding the monkey off his back. That's going to be like a huge selling thing with Bobby the Brain and Tony Schiavone. I'm like, you need a Dusty, whoever's in the booth. I'm saying you really have to sell the fact that Savage has finally gotten this monkey off his back. He's beaten Hogan for the belt,
Yes.
right? So
We
Sting,
recognize the first pinfall victory over Hogan, period.
exactly. Sting is going to feud with Luger because of the whole. They remember they had a whole debacle that made them lose the tag titles to Flair and Arn, and
Yeah.
so they're going to feud through the Clash of the Champions all the way to Super Brawl, which is in like late February, early March.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I'm swinging it. So I'm turning everybody. Okay. Kevin Sullivan here is going to start turning face,
Oh my God.
and he's going to start mentoring Sting. Okay? So it's like a weird thing where nobody understands what the hell's going on here. Why is Sting and Sullivan all this together? So Sting develops like this kind of kinship that he always wanted with Flair. But
Mm-hmm.
Flair always would turn on him and fucking throw him to the sharks, right? So Sullivan is finally feeding into that father figure that he wanted from Flair. He's now getting it from Sullivan. So now Sullivan's not with the Dungeon of Doom no more. He's not the Taskmaster. He's not walking around with lightning bolts on his fucking forehead.
He's just Kevin Sullivan.
He's just Kevin Sullivan. He's got yellow, he's got the same yellow trunks, red trunks with his boots, whatever. It's the same dude. He's just not this whole mystical Undertaker bullshit. He's not doing that now. So that's how I have that. Okay, Savage, after he beats Hogan, Hogan dips. Hogan disappears to go do a movie.
No,
Right.
so that means he's gone for like 3-4 months.
So he's gonna be Hogan's gone right after Super. That's why Hogan lost the belt, and he handpicks Savage. If we're gonna go backstage, break fourth wall, inside baseball, they were pitching it to Hogan like, who do you want to lose this belt to since you got to go film a movie, and Hogan was like, I'll lose it to Randy. So Randy takes the belt from from Clash of the Champions all the way to Bash at the Beach. Okay, now.
Wow.
That's where I'm going to stop because that's where I got. Now I'm jumping all the way to Bash at the Beach. So Savage engages in a feud with the Four Horsemen, right? until Bash at the Beach. So that's April, May, June, and then July. So think maybe like a tag team match here against Arn and Rick. Maybe a singles match against Benoit on Nitro. Okay, there's only 3 horsemen.
He's
You
fighting.
remember that,
He's fighting the whole group basically
but he's
in singles
fighting.
matches at one
Yeah,
point or another.
exactly. And with the help of Kevin Sullivan and Sting, because now Kevin Sullivan and Sting are baby faces, and they don't like the outnumbering of the Horsemen on Savage, so they're constantly in between this shit. They fight for the tag team titles maybe at Great American Bash, you know, like I'll have them engaged in a nice long-standing feud that's leading to Bash at the Beach.
Gotcha.
Now, do you want to would you like me to defer to you so you can get to Bash at the Beach?
Man, let's see.
Where would you take Giant Sting? Where would you take Hogan now back on your program?
Okay, so I'm gonna skip over from that Clash of Champions to WCW Uncensored.
Okay, which is what, May?
Uncensored, I think, was March or April.
Okay. All right.
It's one of the, this is one of those moments. I was like, where the hell's my other phone at? Now I'm curious.
I'll look right now. It was March. Yeah, you're right. March 24th, 1996.
Okay. So what was there pay per view in January? I don't think there was at that
No,
time. I
no,
think it was
not for WCW.
February. Okay, so Super Brawl was in February, and Sting did not get his title shot as he wanted.
Oh, so Sting gets the
Somehow,
shaft.
somehow, Flair managed to get a title shot and lose.
Okay.
And now, you know, it's put up or shut up time. Sting has done everything in his power to make sure that he has the Giants' attention, and he's got his full on attention. And they're going to have a Balls Count Anywhere street fight
Oof.
at WCW Uncensored.
This is Sting and Flair.
This is Sting and the Giant.
This is Sting and the Giant. Okay.
Remember, I said the Giant retains. He beats Flair.
Okay. All right.
Sting actually wins the championship
Whew.
by having help from none other than the Horsemen.
Oh shit.
Does not mean that he joins the Horsemen.
Okay. He just enlisted.
Flair actually digs Sting's new persona, his new style, his new attitude.
Okay.
And the Giant did everything that he could until he couldn't do anything anymore. Luger is confused and wondering why Sting has not confided in him for help. Like, what about me? Like, what's
Sting?
What's the deal with that?
Sting, why ain't you telling me nothing that's going on?
He's upset. And now that may lead to something on Nitro.
Okay.
Between the two of them.
That
could actually lead to a potential story between the two of them, depending upon who's going to turn on who.
Okay.
I'm obviously not going to turn Sting into a babyface after all the shit that he's pulled. It's just not going to happen. It's just, as of late, after Luger lost to Hogan, I really didn't have Luger booked on many shows. But along the way, he would help Sting with stuff, even when Sting didn't ask him. And it was one of those situations where Sting was like, look, I got the Giant one-on-one. I appreciate you, but I don't need your help. Okay. But the Horsemen come out and help you, and that's cool. Flair obviously is like, hey, I did you a solid. Now you got to do me one. And it's one of those guarantees where he's got to give him a title shot at Flair's, asking date. Johnny B. Bad. And of all people, Eddie Guerrero, the most bizarre random team defeat the Blue Bloods
Wow.
for the
That's
tag
interesting.
title.
It's an interesting pairing.
He just so happened to knock out Steven Regal, and then Guerrero hit a frog splash 1, 2, 3.
I would assume
I
maybe
think
it's a blunder with the knuckles. Maybe Parker throws the knuckles overhead.
I
Fucking
don't know what else thing happens.
and B
A
Bad
miscue.
catches it
Yes,
and just knocks him out.
you know.
I'll allow you to bring Sable into this if you need to.
I'm not bringing Sable. I'm actually going to have Kimberly Page
Oh,
still with Johnny B. Bad.
okay. So she okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm allowing that thing to just be a thing still.
You don't want her to
I
go
don't
back
know.
to the booty man?
No, no. I don't have. There is no booty man on this show. No,
Not
I'm
even the
not. I'm not.
Zodiac?
He could remain the Zodiac. However, we haven't seen him in a while either. All right. He doesn't even turn into the disciple or none of that. Not dealing with it, bro. Uh, the one title I feel like I've never spoken about is the United States title. Because I don't feel like cruiserweights were around, but there wasn't really a cruiserweight title or anything until like no, it probably was around, but I don't even know how that shit was initiated. To tell you the truth, like I would need to sit down and watch those nitros to like really pay attention.
What? To what? To see what?
So the cruiserweight title when it came in and stuff,
They literally just brought it in.
because I feel like
I think a lot of it was done. I think a lot of it was done on WCW Saturday Night.
I think a Japanese wrestler may have won the cruiserweight title first.
I think so. And then Dean Malenko won it from him.
Yes,
And then
I think it goes like that. And
then it became
Mysterio,
like then it became like prominent on Nitro. But like
yes,
when I was watching Nitro in '95 when they first started bringing in like Dean Malenko and shit, and they were talking about the
yeah.
cruiserweight belt. They didn't really show what like a tournament or anything like that. It's just like all of a sudden the belt was there. I assume it was done on WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah.
That's what I was assuming.
Benoit and Sabu are still going on with their rivalry,
Okay.
which, you know, lock these guys in a cage and let them have it out.
God
But
damn.
they have like a war game style cage. There's the roof on top, so nobody's able to get in, nobody's able to get out.
No Sabu jumping around like a maniac, probably.
Yeah, yeah. Everything that he's tried to do is all within the cage, and Benoit wins that rivalry. Puts
Yeah,
him in the crossface, and basically the crossface knocks him out. Sabu's not
he
tapped out.
passes out from the pain.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So you're at Bash at the Beach, and it just so happens that Bash at the Beach is where, you know, after Luger and Sting have their falling out, Sting obviously just goes right to Lex and starts working on his arm, trying to destroy his arm, trying to take away part of his power, his strength, if you
Oh,
will.
he's trying to rip out that metal plate in his forearm.
There you go. He's trying to do it. Sting has become such a snake now.
Yeah, I like he really did make
It's
Sting a really evil heel.
it is something that nobody would expect out of Sting.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
he's recognized as the flagship, the guy that didn't leave the company, but now this is the attitude that he holds.
Yeah, it's almost as if you turned Sting from the Bret Hart of WCW to the Shawn Michaels of WCW. That's kind of like
Kind of when you look at it.
it's kind of the attitude change I see with him.
Uh, now I'm sitting here debating, and I'm just like, it would be so weird not to have an NWO in the company. Just would be a little strange, I think.
Yeah,
And I feel like there needs to be a Hall of Nash on this show.
you can't have all Nash though, so you got to look through the roster. Who you
This
going to turn?
this sucks. And I feel like I won't even have an NWO at all. It doesn't seem to exist then. Fucking ridiculous. All right, fine. Bash of the Beach would be Sting and Luger.
Okay.
There is a stipulation added to the match. If Luger loses, he's out of WCW.
Ooh, that's heavy
Now, of
right there.
course, there is going to be some sort of way that Luger comes back, but it's not as soon as everybody would expect to,
Okay.
because that's always done so poorly.
Yeah.
Because Ric Flair was supposed to be gone for like a whole year from his retire. Him and Hogan had the retirement match at Halloween Havoc, and then before you know it, he was right back the following, just like a few months later, like, hey, we need somebody to put over Hulk. They called him Flair, as if he wasn't fucking doing that enough.
I know. He did put fucking Hogan over a lot, poor guy. All right, so you want to stop? You want me to go?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. All right, so like I said, leading into Bash at the Beach, there's a lot of Sting and Sullivan and Savage versus the Horsemen. Luger is getting involved as much as he can on the babyface side of things, because that's how we brought him in. That's how I brought him in. I brought him in the same way, except actually no, he's a heel now. I'm sorry, so I'm keeping Luger heel. So now this is what I did. I threw a curveball. Okay.
Okay.
I started to push Conan because he was the U.S. champion at
Yes.
the time. So Conan starts to help these guys. So maybe Conan comes all of a sudden now because we want to put the spotlight on Conan. He's got the U.S. belt. It's a Mexican. It's the Lucha Libre presence. We can bring in the Mexican audience this way, right? So now he's involved in a high-profile feud, right? So like because Flair wants the U.S. belt, because I'm still doing that at Hog Wild. Flair has taken the United States title off Conan. I'm sorry. That happened at Bash at the Beach, but I'm moving it to Hog Wild. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I know it happened at Bash at the Beach, but I'm moving it to Hog Wild because leading into Bash at the Beach, it's a 3-on-3. Benoit, Arn Anderson, and Flair versus Savage, Sullivan, and Sting.
Okay.
Okay? War to settle the score. There has to be a winner, and after this, it's done. Okay?
These two groups can never meet again.
It's not even that. It's just Flair and Savage have to stop. Enough is enough, basically. It's becoming too crazy with them. Like I'm doing kind of the same thing with Savage. Flair brings in Liz to taunt him, and they spend the money and everything like that. But it's gonna get a little bit more personal, where like Flair makes out with her. They're doing more like sexualized stuff. I want to start turning towards that reality based a little earlier.
Okay.
All right. So Savage is getting, he's crazy. Yeah, Savage is. They painted him to be a nut job, so that's what was happening. I'm kind of gonna do this shit where he attacks maybe the limo as it comes in. Flair's limo as it comes into the parking lot, and there's like a big brawl outside. People like wrestlers have to break them up. Savage accidentally takes a tire iron to fucking Disco Inferno, maybe puts him out for a couple months because he just goes nuts on the wrist. He's getting sued. He's getting fined, suspended. It's like we can't suspend him because he's the fucking champion. So it's like, so they just keep fining him. So finally they're like, this is it. It's a war to settle the score between Sting and Sullivan and Benoit and Arn are having this. Boom. Right? I'm going to do a promo on Nitro where Flair relinquishes the tag team title to Benoit. So now the tag team champions are Benoit and Arn.
Okay.
So Flair is like, I don't want this. I got bigger things on my plate. I'm going to relinquish this to a Horseman. And he hands it over to Benoit, and Benoit cuts one of his shitty 1996 promos. I can guarantee you this, Ric Flair. I will defend this belt with honor, just like a Horseman. Right? Typical Benoit shitty promo in 96. Right? So we're leading in to Bash the Beach 3-on-3. Now, leading in, Flair starts to run off at the mouth saying that even though the odds may seem to be even, the group real name is not the 3 Horsemen, it's the 4 Horsemen.
Okay.
So now everybody's like, who the fuck is he talking about? Who is the 4th man? Again, with this bullshit with the Horsemen. First it was the Giant 95, now they're starting it all over again. We're not complete, but once we are, you're all in trouble. They're fighting each other, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't go down like 96 where we take out one guy and it's 2-on-2, that bullshit. It is a knockdown, drag out 3-on-3. Sting and Kevin Sullivan are taking it to fucking Benoit and Arn, right? Savage is in the ring. He goes up to the ropes like this. He's about to drop the elbow. All of a sudden, Hulk Hogan comes walking out through the curtain. right? Savage gets down, he gets up like this, and Hogan gets right in the ring, and he just wallops Savage, just beats the shit out of Savage. The ref just throws the match out. Flair gets up, Hogan stands up, they look at each other, they both start laughing, and they hug, and they throw the fucking four up. And Hogan and Rick get out of the ring. They outnumber Sullivan and uh and Sting, and they beat
Yeah.
the shit out of fucking Sullivan and Sting, and then they literally break Sullivan's legs, like literally, obviously, right in front of Sting. Right, Sting's like, "Oh my god!" Like, so it's like Sting's watching his mentor just get beat up, and like Benoit's holding him in the crippler crossface while he's watching, and Arn Anderson's got a chair over Macho's throat, and Hogan and garbage is getting thrown in the ring, and fucking Mean Gene gets in the ring, and it's almost the same exact way as the NWO goes down, but it's the Four Horsemen doing it. And Flair and Hogan cut this promo where, while Hogan was in Hollywood, he was in talks with Flair, and Flair was like, "See the lifestyle you could live if you just joined the Horsemen? It could be like this all the time. You can live like this all the time. Just think about the women, the movies, the money. You ride with us, you'll ride." And then literally becomes Hollywood Hogan. But this time he's with the Horsemen. Yeah.
I definitely did not see that coming.
Yeah. Right? So Hogan just drops legs on fucking Sullivan while Sullivan's trying to sell his legs. And he's dropping fucking leg drops on Savage, and he smacks Savage. And he goes, "You've been keeping that belt warm for me, brother. It's coming back, brother." Like that. And everybody's just likes it garbage. Makes a Mean Gene cuts that same promo. And we go, and Bash the Beach goes off the air with Hogan joining the Four Horsemen. So now, basically.
Hogan goes straight to hell.
Yeah, exactly. So he still becomes Hollywood, right? They take out Kevin Sullivan completely. So now Kevin Sullivan's basically, his career is ended, or at least that's what I'm gonna let people think.
Okay.
Because Kevin Sullivan's not coming back. So Sting, like, the next night on Nitro, the only thing I'm gonna talk about is on Nitro in terms is they show what happened after Bash at the Beach went off the air, and they show Sting getting in an ambulance with Sullivan as it goes off, and it's like Mean Gene trying to get words with Savage, but Savage is screaming like, "He wants to take me on, I'll take him on." He's flipping out about Hogan, and so you kind of see where Sting went. So, oh shit, what happened with Sting? So Sting's gonna go off TV for a little bit too, and then leading in to Hog Wild, I have Flair taking the U.S. title off Conan. So now Flair becomes the U.S. champion. Arn and Benoit are riding strong with the tag title still, okay? And they ride in and maybe fight the Harlem Heat, have a knockdown, drag out good match with them, but still come out on top. And naturally, Hogan takes the belt off Savage at Hog Wild. But here's the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. Hogan does not spray paint the belt.
Thank God.
We don't do none of that. He's still in the black black lightning bolts. He's still Hollywood. He grew the beard out with the mustache. Instead of an NWO shirt, though, he's rocking a Four Horsemen shirt. That's what he's ripping off, right? And he takes the belt, and all the Horsemen get in the ring, and they're just like this, raising the belts, like all four belts, all of them are champions, just like this, raising it up, and the fucking motorcycles, right? And like Dusty's like, "What are you gonna do now? The Horsemen reign supreme in WCW. Nobody can stop them." And everybody's like terrified of how we're going into the fall with WCW now, with the Horsemen at full strike now. I was gonna do something where Hogan like takes Savage and like takes Elizabeth and makes out with Elizabeth right in the ring and tells him that, like, which I might still do. Like, leading into Hog Wild, he cuts a promo. He was like, "All that stuff you thought about in '89, it was all true, brother." And
wow.
He touches Liz, and Liz goes, "I never thought."
You made it very personal.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you want to see these two fight, and Savage is just like, you like, Savage curses for the first time ever on WCW. Like, he says, "You piece of shit." He calls him like a piece of shit, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he just said shit." And him and Savage, like, him and Hogan and Savage are always banging. There's no Sting to help Savage. There's no Sullivan to help Savage now. So, yeah. So, at the end of Hog Wild, they raise the belts up. They turn around. They turn their sights on Savage. They're like, We're going to do the same thing to him that we did to Sullivan, right? But it doesn't happen because the Giant clears the ring. Giant comes back, clears the ring, and they all run, and they have their moment on the stage instead of the ring. And like I said, and on Nitro, they show how like no, this is Hog Wild. I'm sorry, that was Bash the Beach. Yeah, so they all clear the ring at the end of Hog Wild, and they're like, oh, on the stage, and then that's when Dusty's like, what are we gonna do here? They ain't got the hold of the belt. They're gonna take over WCW. Eric, what do we do now? And then Bobby the Brain's like, this is, you better learn to love it. If Bobby the Brain finally endorses Hogan, he's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. The greatest group. This is the strongest I've ever seen. The Four Horsemen ever. With Hollywood Hogan, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Chris Benoit. WCW has just been put on notice. And it's like, that's how it goes to black. With the fucking the new the full strength Four Horsemen.
That's gonna be hard for me to just come back with. Like now, I'm just sitting here like.
I thought to myself, I wanted to apply the multiverse theory where things still kind of happen the way they happen, but it's not gonna involve Kevin. It's not the NWO. So I still wanted that realism, and I think you could get it out of the Four Horsemen the same way.
Yeah.
Especially turning Hogan heel with them. And just to see Hogan and Flair with all the women and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, you're like, oh, this could never happen. And then they did the weird thing in TNA where it's just like, all right, I guess this works.
Yeah. So do you want to go to Hog Wild for your thing? For your year?
Nope. I'm gonna go to War Games.
All right, jump right to War Games. Go ahead.
Dip right into War Games. Obviously, Luger's gone. He is out of WCW.
Wow.
Sting is still riding strong as a champion.
Okay.
However, he's got the Giant and he's got Hogan chasing after him.
Okay.
And he still kind of has Ric Flair as a bit of his insurance policy in a sense, with having the Horsemen occasionally come to watch his back.
Did Flair cash in his thing yet?
Flair has not cashed in
okay.
his chance at the championship yet. It's still something that is sitting there.
Okay.
The Cruiserweight division is running hot and heavy with Eddie Guerrero and, well, I'm not saying that Eddie Guerrero will be competing within Cruiserweight matches while still being a tag team champion.
Okay.
You know, sometimes in some situations he may even get booked to do double duty, which is already risky business right there.
Yeah, that's true. True story.
So let's see. We've already introducing Rey Mysterio, take on Dean Malenko, and they tear it up. Malenko, I would still have as a Cruiserweight champion, just because he was one of my favorite Cruiserweight champions to watch.
Yeah.
At that time. Who else? Let's see. Harlem Heat want to win the tag team titles, but they feel that if they don't get the job done, they have to split up as a team and go their separate ways.
Wow, that's an interesting take on the Harlem Heat.
There's no animosity. There's no beef. It's just like, yo, we have to do the damn thing.
It's either win or go home, essentially.
Yes. And that's one of the matches that I have featured at Fall Brawl.
Okay.
It appears that we're going to have a very unusual War Games main event that I didn't think would happen. We're going to have Benoit,
okay,
Sting, Flair, and Anderson as one team.
Okay.
On the opposite team is the Giant, Hogan, and two unnamed men.
Oof, we're going a surprise round.
Yes.
Okay.
And the difference is here is that we get those two unnamed men to come in and pull up during the entrances as they're made.
I'm sorry.
One of them is a tag team specialist. The other one is making his return from injury. So that's an easy spoiler that I've just thrown right there
So
without even saying it.
more of his Lex Luger. Or
No,
Savage. Savage.
Savage, yes.
Savage. Who's the tag team specialist? Booker T?
Nope.
No.
Road Warrior Hawk.
Wow. That is very WCW booking.
I mean, shit. They did the fourth man with Animal in the year 2001 when he came out in that disaster of the match between Sid and Scott Steiner where he broke his leg. So yeah, Hawk is coming in. Hawk obviously has never liked the Four Horsemen, has had beef with the Four Horsemen, has competed with in the War Games. So there is history there.
Yeah.
So it works.
Okay.
Diamond Dallas Page is the United States champion.
Right on. DDP.
And he is feuding with Das Wonder Kid, Alex Wright.
Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's right. I don't have Alex Wright competing in the cruiserweight division. No. He's going for the United States.
I never got that. She always because he was
I was like, this is the man who defeated John Paul Levesque. Okay,
he did
at Starrcade '94.
terrorizing, right?
He could go, he could go to compete for that title. Of course, DDP retains it, not losing it.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm gonna go back to the main event eventually. Harlem Heat actually wound up being victorious, and this is due to Eddie Guerrero not only getting a cruiserweight title match, but also having the need to defend the tag titles. So first, the beginning of the show, Tim and Malenko, the cruiserweight title. Malenko beats him, Texas Cloverleaf. Obviously, the damage is done to his leg, and he goes into the tag match. And of course, they get the pinfall victory on him. Instead of Guerrero, taking the help from Johnny B. Bad, because Johnny B. Bad is just like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get the belts back, whatever. Guerrero's frustrated. Johnny B. Bad turns his back as if he's like going to go walk away and go get something. And Guerrero hits Johnny B. Bad with a low blow.
Oof.
And he turns on Johnny B. Bad.
Isn't that right around the same time he turned heel too, Guerrero?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Turns on him, limps away, just leaves him laying out there. Kimberly is obviously tending to Johnny B. Bad, and I've obviously opened up a brand new story right there.
You sure did. Guerrero was Johnny B. Bad now. I have to tip my cap to the fact that you're heavily featuring Johnny B. Bad.
Somebody's got to do it. Dusty did it. I'll do it. Let's see. So obviously, the way this is going to go with this particular War Games match, obviously, submit or surrender.
Yeah.
Whoever gets the fall, whoever gets the victory. If Sting wins, he chooses who he wants to give a title shot to in the match.
Okay.
If anybody else wins, they get the title shot.
All right.
The next night on Nitro.
Oh, okay.
Not even at a pay-per-view. We're going the next night.
All right. So now, if Benoit gets the pin, he gets a shot too, like his own team.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Wow! So a lot of odds played against Sting, huh?
Yes.
Okay. And cause dissension that way.
The person who gets the victory is Savage.
Oh, Randy.
He makes Ric Flair surrender.
Okay.
Makes Ric Flair surrender with his own hold.
Biggie form. All right, right on.
So the very next night, we're going to have Savage and Sting on Nitro. However, I want to know what's going to happen with your show.
All right, so I left Hog Wild with the newly crowned Horsemen, right, as champions and shit. So we're going into War Games. My War Games match is the Horsemen, obviously, versus Savage, the Giant, Conan, and the returning Sting.
Okay.
So now Sting comes back on a Monday Nitro with all white and black face paint on. Man, quiet. Just comes out, he kicks the shit out of his opponent. Maybe Marcus Alexander Bagwell or some shit like that. Right? Or fucking Jerry Flynn. One of those like real meaty Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez, if you will. And and Mean Gene tries to get words with him, and Mean Gene says, "Will you? Savage offered you as the fourth team member. Do you accept?" And he accepts, but he doesn't really say yes. It's one of those so he leaves the ring. So Savage and the Giant, they start to question him. They're like, "Yo, man, what the fuck's going on with you? We need to make sure you're there. Like, are you going to be there mentally? Like, I need you to know. We get that Sullivan is done. We get Sullivan suffered severe injuries and he's never going to be the same again. And we get that your mentor is gone, but we need the stinger, man." And Sting basically walks just like leaves, just doesn't acknowledge them or whatever. And then later in the night, when Savage has a match against Flair and he gets outnumbered, and then Giant comes out and he gets beat up, and then Conan comes out and they start getting beat up because it's 4-3. Sting comes out and clears the ring with a bat, and then looks at the three of them, and then basically just throws the bat in the middle of the ring, and just leaves, and everybody goes nuts. Basically, saying, "I'm with you, dummies. I'm gonna help." So that's what I have at War Games. That's like leading into War Games. Okay. Now, here's another one. There's another curveball I'm gonna throw at you. Okay. Because this is how the match ends. The Horsemen win. Now, I think that's the only thing I booked. Yeah. So the Horsemen win. Okay, but they win with some help from their brand new manager and financial backer, Ted DiBiase. Okay? Teddy jumps the guardrail, closes the gate on Savage's head, bang! Savage falls back into the ring. Flair just puts him in a figure four, and he doesn't really tap. He's just laid there knocked out.
That's funny. We both pretty much have similar situations, although it's different.
Right? So Flair gets up. Teddy gets in the ring. He laughs and he hugs, and then Gene gets in the ring again when they lay everybody out. Right? Sting never showed up, by the way. Right?
Oh boy!
So they level the three of them, and the cage goes up or whatever, and Mean Gene gets the ring, starts interviewing them, and they say, "How do you think we got all this money to do all this great stuff now? We had to have a financier, blah, blah, blah." And Ted DiBiase cuts a nice promo. He's basically the new J.J. Dillon of the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
All right? So as they're talking all this shit, you see thunder and lightning, right? The lights flicker and they come back on. Sting's in the ring with a bat again. He clears the Four Horsemen out. And Ted just rolls out because Ted's not going to get his hands dirty. Ted rolls out and just collects the Horsemen, and they all run up, and Sting just points to bats, and it's how the pay-per-view goes off the air.
Gotcha.
So Sting is basically turning into the Crow much earlier, but right around the same time, actually. But I'm just having him basically go full on instead of this whole did he turn, did he not turn bullshit.
Okay.
Now, what else I'm going to say is Rey Mysterio becomes basically the king of the Cruiserweight division and has a very long-standing feud with Dean Malenko and trades some victories back and forth with the likes of Hoovy Juice and Psychosis and shit like that. So that's like what's going on with the Cruiserweight division. Benoit and Arn are feuding with Eddie Guerrero and Chavo. Chavo has come in through Eddie's tutelage, and Eddie is basically teaching him the ropes. And they've earned a tag team title shot. And they have a best of 7 series for the tag titles. Arn and Benoit and the Guerreros. Flair winds up feuding with Luger for the U.S. title, claiming that the only reason Luger was a thing in the 90s was because he was a horseman in the 80s. And Luger goes on to say, "I didn't need you then and I don't need you now, and I'm going to prove that by winning the U.S. title." Okay? Now, the Guerreros wind up winning the tag titles off of Benoit and Arn, I'm a, let's say at Halloween Havoc, due to an interference by Sting, who will now engage in a long-standing feud with Arn Anderson, who was the main guy who took out Kevin Sullivan at Bash the Beach. So Sting's focus is now on Arn. But Sting is also going to say that I'm going to take out each one of you because you were all involved, but I'm going to start with the Enforcer. That's basically the message that you get from Sting without him talking. You know, maybe we do it with vignettes and promos where he shows like the Horseman pictures and one is crossed off each week as he takes out each Horseman or whatever. Flair, not Flair, I'm sorry. WCW brings in back Kevin Sullivan to try to talk sense into Sting because that's how far off the edge he's gone, and like basically trying to save Sting's soul, but Sting basically goes full Crow gimmick and just leaves. Doesn't say nothing to him, like doesn't acknowledge what he says, and he tells like later on in the program, Kevin Sullivan will tell Mean Gene, he's too far gone, Gene, he's too far gone, I can't save him. And he just gets in his car and he goes, I'm telling you right now, if I was you and if I was WCW, I'd be really worried about what's coming with Sting. And he leaves.
Okay.
So he sends the message. So that, and then Halloween Havoc would be a very heavy like Sting like to add to the mystique of what's coming with him. Since it's a Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, it's like that's why he helps them win the tag titles, and then he goes to World War III to fight Arn Anderson, and then he's gonna probably fight Arn Anderson going into '97. I think that's what I have here.
Okay.
So yeah, see, he says right here it says Sullivan returns at Starrcade to try to talk sense into Sting after he fights Arn again. So that's what I have.
Now, just curious to know, is Sullivan in a wheelchair?
Probably. I do have here that the Guerreros wind up going on to feud with the Harlem Heat.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
I have some other notes, but I'll let you get to where you got to get to. Go ahead.
So let's go to the next night after War Games. And we kick off, welcome to 2 hours of fun, WCW Monday Nitro. And Harlem Heat's music hits. And they come out. And they said they knew they would be able to do it. And they throw out an open challenge to any tag team. And you think it's going to be somebody big coming out. And it just so happens to be the Renegade and Joe Gomez. The Renegade has no face paint. They come to the ring and they get washed in under 30 seconds.
Wow.
Booker T is like, come on, man. What's this? This is a joke. Joke out back there. And then the music hits. Well, here's the story of two brothers. And the Steiner brothers make their triumphant return on Monday Nitro. Big surprise. Nobody saw that coming.
That's kind of sick because that's who's feuding with the Harlem Heat when the Heat take the like the same thing. Almost the same exact way too. Good.
They come in, they have their match, and of course Harlem Heat lose, but they don't lose tag titles. They manage to get themselves counted out.
Okay.
They get on the mic. They, obviously, the Steiner brothers start talking. What? Boys, I don't know why I'm doing the hand the way he does it now, Scott Steiner, when he talks. But obviously, they let Harlem Heat know that they're gunning for them. Big surprise. Nobody obviously saw that coming. Nobody would think that, Harlem Heat have to, defeat one tag team to squash them. And next, a real tag team comes back, show them that they're the greatest tag team in all of professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling, yeah.
We move forward with some highlights from the pay-per-view War Game. And it just so happens that the Disco Inferno gets a title shot at the United States title. Him and DDP actually have a really good match, but Diamond Dallas Page retains the title. DDP is just like, actually trying to find ways to get Kimberly back now.
Oh.
It's like, see, Kimberly, look at what you're missing. Huh?
I'm a reformed man.
It's like, I got money, I got jewelry, and I got WCW United States Championship.
I got the Lord of the Ring battle bowl.
And it just so happens that the person who hears it that's not happy about it is Johnny B. Bad.
Of course.
And he storms the ring, double A takedown. He starts wailing away. But also coming out is Eddie Guerrero.
Oh boy.
And he puts the boots to him. And DDP, goes to give Guerrero a high five. But as DDP would, self high fives himself, being a total dick. The United States title is down on the mat, and his back is turned. As soon as he turns around, what? Levels him with the U.S. title. Jesus. And he has both men laying down at his feet, and he raises the title up. So this can be something that leads to Halloween Havoc.
Okay.
A three-way dance, if you will, between those three men.
I believe WCW called it a triangle match.
Triangle, three-way, triple threat.
WCW triangle.
The thing that just, it's all confusing.
Yeah.
It's all confusing. We got Savage preparing for his match. Giant telling him he's got his back if he needs it. Hogan is as well. So is Hawk. You're like, don't worry about it. J.J. Dillon walks up to them in Savage's dressing room. He's like, I've already let the Horsemen know, and I'm letting you guys know. Nobody's allowed at ringside except for the two men that are in the match. The only two people that have to be out there are the two men competing for the title, which is obviously Sting and obviously Randy Savage. And I've just noticed Sting has been champion for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's
almost like a year now.
As I'm looking at this. I mean, he beat the Giant at, Uncensored, but he's still the champion. You wouldn't expect him to have this long of a title reign. I know I did.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, the Cruiserweight title match. Now we're doing Malenko, Mysterio, 2 out of 3 falls.
Okay, classic.
With that, going to a time limit draw.
Okay.
Mysterio asking for the 5 minutes, and it does not happen. That was another good match. Got a quick squash match. Conan just defeats Jerry Flynn. And now we're on to the main event.
Okay, here we go.
We are on to Savage versus Sting.
Oh, there you go.
And champion comes out first. And Savage's music hits. We're waiting a while. Where is the Macho Man? Where is Randy Savage? You go to the back and he's laid out.
Damn it.
And there are feet by his body, but the camera does not pan up.
Are they wrestling boots or regular shoes?
They're wrestling boots.
Okay.
J.J. Dillon's like, how are you going to do this? What are you doing to my main event? How could you do this to my match? You know what? You go out there and you fight for the title now.
Oh, boy.
And he walks to the ring. Who would it be? The total package, Lex Luger.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The person that was watching Sting's back the entire time that Sting did not appreciate it. And Sting is flipping out.
Yeah.
He is flipping the hell out. He is not happy about this at all. They don't go straight into blows right away. Sting is like, what the hell are you doing here? What the hell are you doing here? It's like, you shouldn't be here. Just go on. And Luger's thinking about it, and he's about to leave. And Sting was like, see, he's not stupid. I know there has to be a brain somewhere in that fucking head, somewhere within that head. And Luger turns around, hauls off, and starts throwing rights, military pressing him. and they actually have a match. But by that point in time, Savage is now coming out, and he has a chair, and he's coming in to lay both of them out while still being hurt. He manages to get the job done, and obviously it's chaos. The Horsemen come out, Hawk comes out, Hogan comes out, the Giant comes out. It's madness. Now we got to figure out what we're doing with the world title picture, and that's how that show ends. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it up this way. We're gonna do Savage up against Luger. The winner of that match gets a title shot later on that night at Halloween Havoc. So we're gonna open the show
versus
with,
Savage.
with Savage and Luger.
Uh-huh.
And then the main event, somebody will face Sting.
So that's where you're stopping, or you want to book the Halloween?
That's where I'm stopping.
All right.
I already know that I already have 3 major matches for Halloween Havoc. I obviously have the Steiner brothers up against Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm gonna have another screw. I'm gonna have another screw finish there.
Right.
So that way Harlem Heat manages to retain their tag titles. I'm also doing Mysterio and Malenko. There must be a winner.
Okay.
There's got to be a pinfall of submission. There must be a winner. That's that. Guerrero, Diamond Dallas Page, and Johnny B. Bad for the U.S. title. And obviously, whoever the winner, at some point, whoever wins between Savage and Luger has to face Sting.
All right. So now coming out of my War Games, Sting is, like I said, he didn't help the team at all, but he did come at the end. So the next night, he fights Randy Savage 1-on-1. And Sting's going to win, and then Sting's going to say one last thing before he goes into silence. That's going to that promo I was telling you about, where he's going to take out all the Horsemen one by one. And if it means losing all his friends to do it, then so be it. So that's like starting with Savage. So he leaves. And then Savage has a rematch with him at Halloween Havoc. So it's Savage and Sting at Halloween Havoc. Hogan's going to fight the Giant in a rematch from the year before at Halloween Havoc, right? I think he fought him 95 at Halloween Havoc.
Yes.
Giant. So he's going to fight him in a rematch for a year in the making, Giant versus Hogan. Flair is going to fight in a rematch for the U.S. Championship against Conan, and he'll definitely retain. Flair will definitely retain. Conan's no longer the U.S. champ. Benoit's going to continue his new feud. Actually, no, he was feuding with. He came out of the tag team with Guerrero, and then Arn is with. I'm sorry, Sting fights Arn at Halloween Havoc. Savage will fight Benoit. I'll just have Savage fight Benoit. So, and then Sting will win. So he'll take out Arn, but he won't like take out Arn. He'll just take out Arn. Benoit will win by Savage getting disqualified for like not breaking the referee count or some shit. So the ref will throw the match out on Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Flair is going to beat Conan with the help of his ladies, woman Miss Elizabeth.
Okay.
And now Hogan's wife, whatever Hogan's wife was, I forgot her name. Linda Hogan. So instead of Deborah McMichael, it's Linda Hogan. Yes, I turned Hogan into the Steve Mongo McMichael of the Four Horsemen.
Listen, not for nothing, but Linda Hogan was one of the women that was there.
She was. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm.
Part of ballet, so that's perfectly fine.
So that's what I'm saying. So the three of them helped Flair retain. Yeah, Flair helped retain his title, and with the dirty tactics of Hogan and the help of all the Horsemen, including the ladies, Hogan beats the Giant. The Guerreros lose the titles at Halloween Havoc to the Harlem Heat. Eddie turns on Chavo, going heel at Halloween Havoc. Okay, Chris Jericho debuts as an instant heel. I'm bringing him in as immediately as the Jericho that we know, the heel Jericho from WCW.
Gotcha.
And he makes a beeline for the TV title and wins it in his debut match.
Wow.
Who the TV champion was that I had, but Jericho is now the TV champion. Okay?
Gotcha.
So Jericho wins the TV title. All this happens at Halloween Havoc.
Okay.
Obviously, like I said, with the Horsemen, Ted DiBiase, is the one that comes out with Hogan. So Ted DiBiase's with Hogan in the main event instead of all the Horsemen, because Flair has the two girls. Arn is the force, he doesn't need any help, and Benoit and Savage was going to get ugly, so nobody came out with Benoit. At least that's how I'll have the commentators painted for them.
Okay.
So then going into World War III, Hogan's going to defend the belt against the Giant again in a rematch because Hogan dirty tactics. The Harlem Heat will defend the tag team titles against a mystery opponents at the World War III pay-per-view.
Okay.
Sting will now fight Chris Benoit in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Okay, and everybody else is in the Battle Royal.
Gotcha.
Okay. Harlem Heat come out. They open the show. They Booker T like, what suckers are dumb enough to come out and fight now that we got the tag team titles back? We ain't never letting them go. And then you hear the song Steiner Rise, right? They come walking out, and they have a knockdown drag out match, fantastic match, but it ends in a no contest because we want to keep it going. I don't want a decisive winner or loser, so I'm going to keep it going between the Steiners and the Harlem Heat. Sting beats Benoit, but doesn't take him out. Benoit just escapes with the help of Woman.
Okay.
Okay? Now, as Woman and no, I'll save that. I'm gonna save that. So a Woman helps Benoit and they leave. So Sting is like really mad. He still wants to take out Benoit.
Okay.
I'm gonna save that for like a Nitro. So like Nitro will still always be unpredictable. So Sting will eventually take out Benoit. It'll probably happen on a Nitro, leading into Starrcade. Okay, so what else? All right, Hogan beats the Giant. This time a little cleanly, little help from DiBiase, but he slams and leg drops the Giant with a decisive win. So Hogan wins. And the winner of the Battle Royal, I was up in the air about this. I didn't know who I wanted to win it. There's so many people in it. Savage, Lex Luger as a heel, obviously. Because Luger, you notice I've basically taken Luger completely out of the mix because Luger sucks. But I'm going to have, shocker, Diamond Dallas Page wins the Battle Royal.
Okay.
He starts his transition into babyface here. So he's going to start it here. So the winner of this Battle Royal gets a shot at Super Bowl in 1997. If I'm not mistaken. That's how it worked, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so he now is going to make his full transition between now and Super Bowl 1997 in a full-on babyface at this point. So Diamond Dallas wins, comes out on Nitro. He apologizes for his behavior. Kimberly Page comes out. He apologizes to her. She forgives him. He gives her a big hug and a kiss. They have like a Macho Man Elizabeth moment.
Okay.
Like a moment of forgiveness. He, like I said, he forgives he apologizes to everybody for being an asshole, but now he promises to be the man that people expect him to be or whatever. Like I said, just completely turning him babyface. So that's where I'll stop, and then I'll let you go into Starrcade, and then I'll finish my year here.
So obviously, I got to go with my Halloween Havoc results. We open up with these guys, Luger and Savage going at it one-on-one. When Luger goes to pick up Savage in the rack, he happens to knock the referee with Savage's legs.
Okay.
Taking him down. He has him up. Savage actually surrenders, gives up, but obviously the referee's down. But here come the Horsemen, who are obviously hating over the fact that Luger got involved in this whole situation. They thought that he was just like gone away somewhere because they hadn't seen him around for a little while.
Right.
And they go to attack him. And through the crowd, unexpectedly, there's a man with a guitar. Jeff Jarrett comes in and rocks Lex Luger with a guitar.
Dude, he was the guy that I was gonna have win the battle, the World War. That was the toss-up between him and DDP. Forget.
Blast Luger with the guitar. Savage has no idea what's gone on. The referee's finally making his way back up. Savage goes to the top, drops the elbow. 1, 2, 3. Savage is guaranteed to get his title shot tonight.
Oof. There you go.
It just so happens that the person who paid off Jeff Jarrett to blast Luger with the guitar was Sting. Because Sting calls out to him the aisle way. At the end of the match, because it's just so smart to have Mean Gene interview Jeff Jarrett. What are you doing here? Ha ha, Mean Gene! And he starts talking and he's telling him, I got involved because it was a good payday for old Double J. Sting comes, hands him the envelope. They shake hands. Savage is now like freaking out. He's just like, he didn't want the help to win. He's just, and Luger, is coming to his senses because Savage dumped some water on him and it's supposed to revive him and get him up. And he's confused and he's ready to strike even though he's hurt. And he's just like, let's just let it go, man. Just let it go. And they actually shake hands. And now there's respect between the two men.
Oh, wow.
This is solidifying now that Lex Luger is full-on babyface.
Oh, yeah.
He felt he needed to do what he had to do in order to get a title shot, despite him having all this beef with Savage. So it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
But both men, obviously, throughout the whole match, there were no dirty tactics done by either man. It's just obviously there's all this beef going on. Harlem Heat, Steiners are up next, and the Harlem Heat go to get themselves counted out. And J.J. Dillon's like, nope, not happening like the way it did on Nitro when the Steiner brothers came back. Not happening. They keep going. Frankensteiner's hit by Scott Steiner on Booker T. 1, 2, title shot in the back while he's in the pen by Stevie Ray. The Harlem Heat gets disqualified. The Steiner brothers are victorious, but they don't become the WCW Tag Team Champions. So they got away again. You have the WCW Cruiserweight title match. I like how my door just randomly opened like a ghost came through it. I was like, I was like, who the hell opened the door? The WCW Cruiserweight title match with Rey Mysterio picking up a huge win over Dean Malenko.
Okay.
Fast forward. Eddie Guerrero, DDP, and Johnny B. Bad. DDP has been bothering Kimberly, and he hasn't really been focusing as much on his title defense. There comes a moment where Johnny B. Bad goes to Irish Whip Diamond Dallas Page, and Kimberly goes to sweep DDP's leg.
Oh, jeez.
She messes up, and she actually sweeps Johnny B. Bags. And he's like, "What, Kimberly, what are you doing? What are you doing?" As soon as he turns around, gets nailed with a diamond cutter.
Very good with Johnny B. Bad.
1, 2, 3. He gives himself the self high five and the thumbs up to Kimberly. And Kimberly's like, she didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Johnny B. Bad is now pissed off with Kimberly. Like, how could you do this? Guerrero was in the match, but it didn't really matter as much.
Yeah, no, he was just there.
He was just there.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of it. Despite him having beef with Johnny B. Bad, he wasn't really chasing the title. Well, he was chasing for the title, but he just was able to accomplish his goal.
Okay.
Backstage, we go to DDP talking about his victory with the Nasty Boys backstage at random, And Kimberly comes in his dressing room. She's like, "You think you got one over on me, don't you?" Like, hey, whoa. It's not like that, Kimberly.
Yo, whoa, babe.
I've changed. Good God. I've changed. And Johnny B. Bad just so happens to come into the locker room. He's like, Kimberly, what the hell are you doing back here? What are you doing? And it looks like,
A little
with all
suspect.
this stuff going on,
Yeah.
that she's going to go with him.
Yeah.
Paige is trying to calm down uh, Johnny B. Bad, and he lays him out. And the Nasty Boys have to shove him out of the locker room, with Kimberly standing there looking down at DDP, not sure which direction she should go in. We cut from there, and we are going into the main event. So if you notice what I've done with the show, the Horsemen are not booked on this card. The
No.
Giant is not booked on this card.
Yeah.
Hogan is not booked on this card.
Wow.
Saving all those guys to be in that big 3-ring battle royal with the likes of Joe Gomez, the Renegade, Jerry Flynn.
Jerry Flynn. Glacier.
Yes. I think Mortis may have been coming in. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so.
Ernest the Cat Miller at some point, but I would think that was 97. Wrath.
Wrath.
We have Sting dying over there. We have Sting and Savage. And we're down to the wire with these two men. They almost go a full 60 minutes with this match. Almost go. They are putting on a performance of a lifetime. That who knew that Savage could still do that at that current age. But Sting just manages to get the victory.
Son of a bitch.
Blocked in the Scorpion Deathlock, and that was it. Clean, he beat him. Clean.
Oof.
And then at the end of the show, Sting is standing in the ring with an in-ring promo with at least like 3 minutes left before they fade to black. And he's like, it doesn't matter who wins World War III. I will be sitting back and I will be watching. And then different music hits. You have Hogan coming out, standing in the aisleway. You have the Giant over in the crowd watching. You have Lex Luger standing next to Hogan. There are different guys scattered out throughout the arena as the show's going off the air. Skipping past Nitro, going right into World War III. DDP defends the United States title up against Johnny B. Bad. If DDP wins, he gets the services of Kimberly once again.
Ooh.
Johnny B. Bad wins. He not only wins the United States title, DDP never looks at her direction ever again in life.
All right. It's like disappear.
Referee goes down, ref bump. Johnny B. Bad goes for that giant sunset flip off the top rope. It's just crazy to think that was a move that kept people down. That he's jumping off the top rope from that high and just to pin you. And it's over. He's got him. Obviously, the crowd, 1, 2, 3. You hear them. They're going crazy. But he doesn't do it. Doesn't get the victory. Kimberly decides to get into the ring. And Johnny B. Bad's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. I don't need your help. I got this. Diamond Dallas Page is up behind him. Bam! Big left hand. Knocks out Diamond Dallas Page clean. Kimberly just so happens to low blow Johnny B. Bad. And somehow she's trying to revive DDP. She's managing to do it. As he slowly gets up, and Johnny B. Bad is still holding himself up, he picks him up, diamond color, slow crawl over to cover, 1, 2, 3. He retains the U.S. title, and Kimberly and him are back happily ever after once again.
Wow, so she turned heel.
She turned heel.
Oof.
Want to do a female heel turn.
Yeah.
since obviously I haven't been using Liz or woman or any of that. No
Yeah.
female has gotten any type of exposure on my show, which
Yeah.
which would be deemed as very sexist to anybody who's watching. I didn't mean to do it that way. I'm just booking the show the way it was. Okay. Let's see, Steiner Brothers and Harlem Heat one more time. Because not only are they defending the tag titles, but all four men are also in a three-ring battle royal.
Okay.
So Steiner Brothers came close, but the Harlem Heat were victorious. Of course, they managed to cheat. Stevie Ray managed to throw powder in the eyes of Rick Steiner. He's blinded. He picks him up. Booker T comes off with the Harlem sidekick. 1, 2, 3. Of course, they got cheated, and they're upset. And they go into JJ Dillon's locker room. He's like, hey, something's got to be done. Something needs to be fixed. And he's like, don't worry. I will figure something out.
Okay.
So at some point, I'm booking that as a blow-off match for Starcade.
Okay.
For the Cruiserweight title, we actually have Rey Mysterio defending it up against Eddie Guerrero.
Ooh.
And Guerrero came so close to being victorious.
Poor guy.
And
Never beats Ray.
he's trying to play it off like, hey, good job, man. He suckers him in at the end of the match with a forearm, obviously keeping up with something new as a new story and a brand new rivalry to bring to the table. Now it's time for the main event, World War III. I'm going to break it down to about like the final 6 men.
Okay.
It winds up being Hogan, Flair, Savage, Jarrett, Luger, and the Giant. Did I name 6?
That was 6 people.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 6 people.
Smart money is everybody goes after the big man. Everybody goes off the Giant, but that's a fail. We managed to hip toss Jarrett out of the ring. So I can't see Jarrett being in the final 4 with all the names that I just said.
No way.
But he's lucky enough to be there in the final 6.
Yeah.
He gets eliminated. Hogan manages to roll up, hit the ropes, big clothesline. The Giant goes up and over the top. And now they're looking around. Should everybody throw out Flair or should everybody throw out Luger? Who's the strongest here? Even though Hogan's a big guy, it's not like he's a small dude.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Hogan is the 3rd man to get eliminated. So now we're down to Flair and Luger and Savage.
Yep.
Savage manages to throw out Ric Flair, and now we're down to the final 2 men who opened up the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, Luger and Savage.
To end this pay-per-view. And Luger manages to throw out Savage. Lex Luger wins World War III.
Wow. Put a lot of stock in Lex Luger. I'm impressed.
Yes, I have. I won't just give him 1 week and then take the title from him.
Yeah. All right.
So now I'm very interested to see how you close off
the 1996.
Yes.
All right. So Jericho coming out of World War III winning the television championship will now go into Starrcade against Dean Malenko and have an ongoing feud with Dean Malenko, Regal, and so on and so forth. Your Disco Infernos, those guys will be challenging for the television title. But it'll really be the focal point will be Dean Malenko and Jericho. Those are the 2 going to be
the
long-standing feud. That'll start at Starrcade and it'll go right into 97.
Gotcha.
The Harlem Heat and the Steiners really get heated during the Nitros going into Starrcade, and they have a tag team tornado match, so there's no tags.
Okay.
So the teams can be in it, but that's like really the start of their their feud. Uh, Flair is going to defend the U.S. title against a surprise. So they did a surprise at World War III with the Steiners. Now we're doing another one at Starrcade since it went so well. Benoit fights DDP for the shot at the champion at Super Brawl. All set up by Hulk Hogan, figuring that if Benoit takes it, Benoit will just basically lay down for Hogan, or just give Hogan the shot. Hogan takes the night off. So they're sending in the Crippler to take out DDP.
All right.
Sting is fighting Flair in a Texas Tornado death match because it's going to be from Texas. That's where the Starrcade is going to be in my world. So it's in Texas. Hogan will defend the title. I was gonna say Savage, but I don't think I'm gonna do Savage versus Hogan at the thing. I think what I'm going to do instead is do Hogan versus. No, I'm gonna do Hogan versus Savage. Fuck it, Hogan versus Savage. No, you know what? I'll shock the world. It came down to DDP and Luger, so Luger gets a shot. So they give Luger a shot, just a random. Oh shit, Luger's can finally get a title shot. So it's going to be a heel versus a heel, but it's obviously people want to see Luger win.
Okay.
Savage will probably just have a match against Arn Anderson. We'll just have that, just to continue that. And I'm probably gonna have the Giant come out and cream somebody, just going into the new year, just looking strong. But Flair against Sting, Flair is going to escape with a victory against Sting via cheating. And as he's leaving the ring with Woman laughing, he's backing towards the entrance. That's when Kevin Sullivan comes out and beats up Flair for a little bit and then gets in the ring and starts to try to talk some sense into Sting. And Sting, he brings Flair back in the ring and he says to Sting, he says, basically like Batman, prove to the world that you're not like them. Prove to us that you won't take them out.
Okay.
Be the bigger man, but Sting winds up death dropping Flair anyway and leaving. So now you're like, oh shit, Sting is off the deep end. He doesn't give a fuck. Hogan's gonna beat Luger with the help of DiBiase. The Horsemen are gonna come in at the end and beat the shit out of him, and then Sting's gonna come out and clear the ring, and then drop Luger. And then basically, Kevin Sullivan's gonna tell everybody, if he did that to his best friend, what do you think he's gonna do to you guys? So we're going into '97 like with Sting hot out of the box. Okay. Savage and Arn will probably go to a no contest, so I could continue that going because I like that Flair and Arn little thing. Okay, next night on Nitro, Flair has to defend the U.S. title because he didn't defend it at Starrcade against Sting. Okay, so he's like, bring anybody. So now the surprise person that was supposed to come out at night on Starrcade got moved to Nitro because Sting had to fight Flair. Flair couldn't fight somebody surprising for the U.S. title. So the next night Flair comes out and he goes, "Who is it? It's Jeff Jarrett, but not in that whack gear. He's in his bikers.
Okay.
He's like the
chosen one ish.
TNA Jeff Jarrett, yeah, chosen one. Late WCW. Okay. So he comes in and he basically talks to him about how Flair disrespected his father, and he was always he never really looked at him like the god that everybody does, and he's gonna prove it tonight when he takes the U.S. title from him. And Flair's gonna be like, all right, son, like enough of your shit. And Jeff Jarrett's gonna shock the world with the help of Randy Savage, with the help of Sting. Jarrett's gonna shock the world with the help of Sting and win the U.S. title that night on Nitro, his first night there. And then then Flair and Jarrett will now. Flair and Sting are going to continue to feud, and Jarrett's going to take the U.S. title into '97 and defend it against guys like Benoit, Guerrero, DDP, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
And like I said, Hogan wins like basically cleanly. goes into '97 thinking that everything's copacetic, but Sting's gonna prove to everybody that he's not done with the Horsemen and that it's just beginning, and then they're gonna basically end with, "This isn't over. The year might be over, but the war is just beginning. Please tune in." You know how it's gonna go. But that's basically how I'm wrapping up my 1996 year with
All right.
with WCW. Floor is yours, bud.
So, Starcade. It has been announced on the Nitro after World War III that wrestlers from New Japan will be coming in
Oh, why are you doing that?
to compete
Okay.
up against the competitors of World Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
So we'll also have a bit of strange bedfellows because it'll also be a New Japan wrestler teaming up with a WCW competitor.
Okay.
So since I'm not going to do Eddie Guerrero up against Rey Mysterio for the title at the end of the year, instead I'm going to do Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up with Eddie Guerrero to take on Rey Mysterio and Ultimate Dragon.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a big, hot cruiserweight style, junior heavyweight style match to open the show. It'll get everybody hot and right into it. You know, since he's a big name over in Japan, Masahiro Chono will be taking on the likes of Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
That's right. Big stars will be taking on other big stars, is what I'm doing here.
Of their country. Obviously, Masahiro Chono is a big deal in Japan. Yeah.
Yes. The Great Muta will be taking on the Stinger in the main event.
Okay.
For the WCW
title. Okay.
Okay, I started looking at some of the names, even though Muta wasn't there. He was wrestling in Japan. He represented New Japan.
Yeah, he did.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, that's fine.
However, some feuds that have already started will now have to finish.
Yeah, you got some blow-offs, yeah.
DDP will defend the U.S. title one last time up against Johnny B. Bad.
That's what I figured.
Johnny B. Bad is willing to put his career on the line.
Oof.
He loses, he is gone.
Wow.
He is gone. By the way, I'm a hypocrite. If you notice, I allowed Lex Luger to come back after he did a loser leave.
He did.
Total hypocrite. I did exactly what WCW did.
Yeah, as a WCW.
Because they did it. It's allowed.
Yeah, that's true. I'll allow it. It's fine. Fuck it, WCW.
So, that's a match. Harlem Heat have to defend the tag team titles. The match is no countouts, no disqualification.
Okay.
But the match must end in the ring, even if they fight and brawl on the floor.
All right.
They can fight in the crowd. They can fight throughout the arena. They can fight outside the building. And the time could pass. And other matches could happen while they're still brawling throughout the arena.
Wow.
The match still has to come back to end in the ring.
Okay.
Let's see. Also going to have Sonny Ono in the corner of, God damn it, what the hell's the name of the fucking job? Kurosawa. That was a Japanese guy, one of the Japanese guys he was managing at the time. As Kurosawa takes on the Macho Man Randy Savage. That is a match I actually stole from a episode of Nitro, because I know it did happen.
I saw it.
Let's see. So I'm obviously having Savage go over there Uh, as far as the Diamond Dallas Page Johnny B. Bad match, Johnny B. Bad goes for the big sunset flip, nails it, but DDP drops down to his knees, grabs those legs. 1, 2, 3. Johnny B. Bad is out of here. I'm pretty
Oh.
sure we know where he winds up.
Yeah.
Okay? Sounds like that guy is going to be a wild man. Anyway,
You just pushed it back. You pushed it back a few months. That's all.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
Push it back a whole year. Push it back, yeah. Push it back almost a whole year.
A whole year, yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to allow Lex Luger to get his revenge on Jeff Jarrett. Luger didn't forget, and he damn sure is not going to forget.
Okay.
However, Jarrett wins this by DQ. Luger gets caught clobbering Jarrett with the guitar over the head. And the Horsemen come in to save Jarrett.
Oh, wow.
And seeing as how Luger is the number one contender for Super Bowl, they're going to attempt to break his leg. And out comes the Giant to make the save. And he cleans house.
Yeah.
They don't get the upper hand, and they just scatter like roaches. Harlem Heat lose the tag team titles.
Oh, finally Steiner's win.
Now, Steiner's win. Now, remember how I said that this match was so ridiculous that basically another match could actually happen while these guys are fighting and brawling throughout the arena and outside of the building? That stuff actually did happen. Because in between that, we had Jarrett and Luger, we had Kurosawa and Savage. The opening match, Guerrero actually gets the pinfall victory over Rey Mysterio, nailing the frog splash.
Okay.
As Guerrero and Liger were victorious. Chono and Hogan was a big brawl since he's a big Japan star, and this is a big star here in America. Obviously, Hulk Hogan all over the world. That match actually went to a double DQ.
Okay.
So you got no winner there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just a big brawl there, and as bizarre as this is, Sting got the victory over Muta, actually hitting Muta with the green mist, which is something that would not be expected.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Changing of the guard, if you will.
Yeah.
Because he's known Muta for years, so he's known as Strix.
Yeah. Wow.
The show goes off the air with Lex Luger getting into the ring, and he's like, next year, it's me and you. He doesn't hit Sting. They're just standing there. It's me and you. And Sting is just holding the title. Just like it's precious. And that is how I'm ending the year. I'm not even going into Nitro.
Wow.
Leaving it on a high note from that pay-per-view, just like that.
Well, there you have it. That was your 1996. I did my 96. Any notes or anything you're interested in to see where my thing would go? I'm interested to see how Sting and Luger plays out on yours, and I'm interested to see where you would take Hogan in '97, considering.
I honestly believe that Kevin Sullivan was going to double cross Sting. I was sitting here waiting for it.
No.
I was going to say it when you first said it. I was like, some bitch is going to double cross him.
Yeah, no.
Feeling.
I needed a conduit to turn him into the Crow. So that's why I figured, all right, well, I didn't want Kevin Sullivan around much longer through that year anyway, because I wasn't going to use the Dungeon of Doom.
Well, you said you got rid of Dungeon of Doom. That's why I never heard anything about.
That's what I'm saying. I got rid of them, and that's why I was like, well, I still need him, and then I used him as the conduit. Like, all right, well, we'll just develop this relationship that he wanted with Flair, he'll develop it with him, and then we'll just take him out, and then Sting can do the Crow. He can still do the Crow gimmick.
Yeah,
just going that way. Same thing with Hogan. When I was like, how can I turn Hogan Hollywood? And then I just thought to myself, like, well, there's still a faction there, and I think that you could have done with the Horsemen that you did with the NWO. You still could have done that crazy, unpredictable group that's running rampant over the company. So that's when I realized, like, All right, well, they need a fourth horseman anyway, so why not just put Hogan in there as Hollywood? I think Hogan would have fit in there as Hollywood. With Hogan and Flair, like the promos would have been hilarious as Hollywood and the Nature Boy, and if they were able to coexist. Obviously, in our world, they wouldn't have been able to. That's why they never put them
Yes,
together.
correct.
But in my world, they do, and that's why I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna give this. I'll give this a shot." You know, listen. I hope it scores points with me. I don't think so. I don't think I won this because you then at the end went with the Japan people, and that's his bread. It's Brandon's bread and butter. So as soon as you went with that, oh, New Japan's coming in, I was like, "Fuck, he's gonna pick him." I was like, I didn't even think to bring those dummies in.
I was just like, oh, I could have.
I was gonna bring Brennan.
I was like, when you think about it, some things we've kept, but then we move them in a different way.
Wait, yeah,
We use people like like as crazy as it is. I don't ever recall Sting having a lengthy heavyweight title run. Maybe he did in TNA.
maybe, yeah.
Now that TNA posts like an entire month's worth of their shows. Listen. I was supposed to unsubscribe from their version of the WWE Network or whatever, and I never removed my information from the credit card. So now I'm still here. Like,
Wow.
so now I have to just start watching something.
So you have Impact Wrestling. You have the
I have Impact. I have New Japan. I have the cock for WWE.
yeah.
I think I have more than enough.
Fucking
I
hate
used to have Ring of Honor. I don't anymore.
that.
It's more than enough wrestling. Which reminds me, I'm trying to figure out if we're going to do a watch along to some of the matches from SummerSlam '92.
Yeah. We.
Obviously, we the proper ones, and just like, all right,
What matches do you want to watch? I assume obviously Brett versus Bulldog is on that list.
Brett versus Bulldog. Part of me wants to watch Warrior and Savage, and the other part of me doesn't,
That's a really
because
bad match, right?
it wasn't as good as their. I mean, their '91 match wasn't great, but it was better than that.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, Rick Martel, I would watch.
All right, so
Uh,
let's do HBK versus Martel. The tag team title match where the Legion of Doom come out on the motorcycles,
yes,
and then the main event, Brett versus Bulldog.
yes.
All right, so we'll do
But
that.
then tomorrow is the 20-year anniversary of SummerSlam 2002,
You want to
which
watch something
obviously,
tomorrow? I'll watch something
yeah,
tomorrow. All right, so
which obviously Michaels versus Triple H is automatic.
and I'd say Rock versus Brock.
Yes,
What else?
yes.
Taker versus Kane.
Test.
Taker
Taker
versus
versus
Test.
Kane was not around at the time. Kane was, I guess, out on injury or whatever,
Oh, okay.
and that's when they changed up the look of his mask.
Yeah.
So I remember the card. I know it was Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, Jericho versus Flair, the Un-Americans Lance Storm and Christian up against Booker T and Goldust, Undertaker versus Test, Rob Van Dam versus Chris Benoit, Triple H Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar, The Rock. I think that is the entire card, which were all good matches.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
really
Eddie
hard.
Guerrero. Oh, I left one off. Eddie Guerrero and Edge.
Jesus Christ. Dude.
Yeah, like
I would either go the Benoit match only because no one would pick that. So
yeah,
I'd say
actually, but that was their second match between him and Van Dam, and that was good.
yeah. So
That
I
was
would
one of the
probably
few times you saw RVD without his hair,
yeah
like still tied up in a ponytail.
yeah. So I'd pick that one, Sean, Triple H, and then Brock versus Rock because of the significance of what happened from that point on with Brock Lesnar. 'Cause at
Yeah,
that point, he was the youngest world champion. Takes the belt to SmackDown exclusively, which brings back the world title starting Evolution. So
yeah.
there's a lot of significance at that pay per view. I mean,
Let me
that was
make
the
sure that those. I'm pretty sure those are all the matches. Like,
well, whoever wins this thing, we have to do a watch along with either Elevation Dark
oh my
or
god,
or PWG Best
oh,
of or whatever the fuck he said.
that's just cruel to. Well, see, I won't be bothered if it's PWG to be honest.
That's what I
So
said
at
to him.
least,
I said, how come? I said, how come I'm the one that gets punished both ways? Like, I got to get punished with PWG, and then if he
I've
punishes
seen
you
some
with Dark Hill,
highlights. I've seen some highlights of PWG, and I'm just like, okay, this is pretty ridiculous. But
yeah,
I'll be able to take into watching that before jumping up and watching Elevation and Dark. I remember when they first started with AEW Dark, when it first came on, they put it up on YouTube, and I was like, all right. And then you obviously stop because you really just want to watch the main show. That's why at this point, nobody has been watching their Friday shows.
They have Friday shows. Oh, Rampage.
Rampage.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you almost forgot.
yeah.
See?
I
Which
did
is
last
normal.
last Friday. I did forget because I just watched SmackDown, and then as soon as SmackDown
Well,
ended, I put back on the WWE Network and watched Nitros from '96. Yeah.
there you go.
But did you hear about that shit? This guy going into business with himself against Adam Page to kind of
Fuck
promos.
yeah, that's the whole thing. Like tonight, I'm very interested to see what they do with this whole title for title thing. Because
Yeah.
everyone's just like, how are you going to do it? Pay per views the following week, and it's already going to be a crazy week of wrestling, starting from Monday. Monday
Yeah.
Raw, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday Dynamite, Thursday. Even though nobody really watches it, NXT UK. Even though that's about to be obviously disbanded because everybody that's over in NXT UK is coming over to NXT.
Mm.
Friday night, you got a live episode of SmackDown, live Rampage. The following day, Saturday, Clash of the Castle. Even though it sounds like Clash of the Champions every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Uh, Sunday, they're doing Worlds Collide, where it's NXT UK versus NXT 2.0.
Oh wow.
Then later on that day is All Out, the pay per view. Then you're back to Raw, and then you're back to your regularly scheduled week. So it's almost like 2 weeks full every day of wrestling.
It's fucking crazy. You see, Johnny Gargano came back last night. Brought him back on
Yes.
night. Raw has been getting better at SmackDown. Like I will say, the Triple H regime
But
is. You definitely see the change.
I was like, I said the thing that's been different mostly has been there's been more time for matches.
That's what I'm saying. Like Triple H is allowing. He's like very much better quality matches for
Yeah.
sure. The segments too are better quality. Even like that opening. They had an opening segment with all the girls with Trish and Bailey and everything like that. And,
Yeah.
do I really give a fuck? No. But at least it was Trish, so I watched. You know?
Because I was just like, they gave Kevin Owens and Chad Gable time.
That was a very good match. I did the one match that put me to sleep was Finn Balor versus Dolph Ziggler. That put me to
You know,
sleep.
it is. Everyone's just like, most people are just saying they're over Ziggler. They are not crazy
I
about
I've been
him
over
anymore.
I've been over Ziggler since 2010. I've been over Dolph Ziggler. You know, like I was over that guy then. Like
Jeez.
Finn Balor. While athletic is not, he doesn't hold my attention at all. That whole group is terrible.
The Judgment Day was fine when Edge was obviously leading it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then you like,
Yeah, it was
I
fine.
get that you run out of baby faces, but there's no reason to turn him. You had something building with him that was going to be good.
I definitely think they made a huge mistake, and now they're going to clean it up. And now the latest rumors that they're not going to even do the draft this year. I think if they do it after WrestleMania, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Do it the way that you did it, and when you first initiated in 2002. They kept that for maybe what 2002 and the
my
2000.
issue, my issue with the draft is though, like, no one stays on their respective shows. They keep showing up on Raw, so why have a draft? At this point, don't do that. If you're just gonna have them all come on the shows anyway, why is it, oh, this guy's on this show, this guy's on that?
Yeah,
No, just stop brand splitting. There is another company now. You don't need to create competition within the WWE no more. The only reason you did that was because there was no other companies competing with you. Now there is. You don't need the draft no more. So
and
stop.
though most people will probably argue with me about it, but I felt SmackDown was the better show
It was
uh,
for a very long time.
for X amount of years,
Yeah, it
especially
was.
that 2002 to 2005 time that run.
That was Paul Heyman writing it too, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, so that's why. Like it had good writing, it had great wrestlers. It was a very good program. I remember tuning in, like watching it when you were here watching it. Those were very good SmackDowns.
but then the other thing about it was the Shawn Michaels Triple H story was about that same amount of time, and that was a very good story.
Yeah. Well, Raw, a broken clock was right twice a day. So Raw like got it right sometimes, but most of the time it was dog shit. Like, dude, I'm watching. I just got done watching July '96 Raws, and
Uh,
fucking a man, was it brutal? It was brutal. And to see Shawn Michaels like have to suffer through a babyface gimmick, you could clearly tell It
Yeah,
was it
that
was
and they said that obviously that was the worst time,
yeah.
and he was not, and Shawn Michaels was not a big draw. Bret Hart was. So when people have that argument over who's better, I mean, Shawn said it himself. He said better. Bret is the better technician. Obviously, there's no
Yeah,
secret to that, I don't think.
no way.
But Bret just was not the entertainer that Shawn Michaels was.
Yeah. That's really what it comes down. That's really what it boils down to for me. Is like as good as Brett was, he wasn't. He didn't have the complete package like Sean had.
Yeah,
What Brett did very well. Probably the best I've ever seen, but it wasn't as good as Sean. Sean had a complete package where you just like, this guy's gonna do anything. He can get any, he can get in the ring with any guy, size guy, and basically just fight to their level, to their ability. It's just
yeah.
insane how he was able to do that. So, listen, I liked your '96, dude. So if you win, I tip my cap to you. Well, Brandon's gonna watch this back and make his decision. He said he's at work right now, so
Cool,
he's gonna
cool.
watch this back and listen to it. So I appreciate you hanging out. Next week, if we don't do the watch along, we will definitely do WWF '96 because now that Nash and Hall are there, we have to
Oh
book
yeah,
that and see how that plays out. Right?
that's is going to be very interesting
I can't wait for that. Let me just tell you, I
to see how
cannot
that
wait for that.
goes.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. So,
However, I want to make something very interesting. So see how Johnny B. Bad stayed
yeah,
with me and '96 for WCW.
yeah.
I can't bring him into the world of my '96 WWF.
No, you just
Not at
can't.
all.
You just kept him out.
Yes.
That's hence why I didn't bring him in. I need a jobber. Anyway. Anyway. Thanks, Malik, for hanging out. Thank you for watching Spot Monkey Radio. I had a couple of viewers today. I appreciate it. A couple of comments. Much appreciated. We're going to be back Sunday at 7:30. That's usually the time. Like I said, this week I just had a scheduling conflict. But we will be back this Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to do a watch along. Just let me know the time you want to do it, and we'll set it up.
Gotcha.
All right. So until then, that's Malik. I'm Tony. This has been Spot Monkey Radio. Take it easy. Peace.